This conference will now be recorded.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another product session. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. If you're familiar with Super Duper and the way we were founded, you'll know that we began all of our product development with artistic drawings, cartoon drawings, illustrations, things that were nice, eye-catching, very colorful. Over the years, we've had many requests to include let's just say real photos or photos of actual items, pictures, things like that, that would not only pertain to a more realistic image of what we were targeting, but also expand our audience to older learners as well as into adults. So today we're going to take a look at some of our photo features. It's going to be a lot of products. However, I do just want to emphasize that these are the products that have photos in them. So if you have school districts that are looking for products for older elementary or middle school, high school, or even if you have connections outside of the school district that are looking for products for young adults, these would be some that would be great to target with that audience. So first off, what we have our articulation photo decks. Now these are our larger cards. These will be cards that will be targeting specific sounds such as K, G, F, etc. Each combo pack has all of the sets included. And then of course, if we take a look at the individual cards, these cards have real photos with them. It's a plain background so that the students can identify that specific object with no distractions. And of course, with these, with the K sound, we're targeting the initial position, the medial position in the middle of the word, and then the final position or the sound at the end of the word. So each of these card decks will have the picture on the front, colorful illustration of that image. So each of these decks will have 10 decks in them. So this will be our combo pack. These are sold individually, but we do recommend going in and getting the entire set so you have all of those at one place. Specifically used to address the articulation sounds and the production of those sounds. However, multiple use items is what we go for here at Super Duper. So these are great for vocabulary building, naming items, categorizing, etc. These cards are perfect for that. Now, a neat little feature we have added to our lineup is not only the larger cards, but we also have Tiny Talk. Now, you can see these are quite a bit smaller, and these can be used for our younger learners, such as our preschoolers, etc. And if you look at these are cute little cards, same format, our pictures, but they're just smaller cards. So you see we have all of the different colors, the nice picture representation of those items. These as well come in sets of 10. So as you see, once we open the box, we do have that nice set of 10 cards in there, or 10 decks of cards. And we have the set 1, those are for earlier developing sounds. Set 2 will be for the later developing sounds, such as S, L, R, CH, SH, etc. We also have our Vocalic R deck. This combo deck includes Vocalic R sounds such as ER, OR, IR, AR, etc. So ear, air, ir, or. And the nice thing with this, we even include bags of dinosaurs and lizards. So it's a nice little reinforcement for the students that like to have manipulatives and little rewards as they're doing these activities. What I was mentioning before, we also have our Phonology cards. Now, this is for students that are either leaving the beginning of the sound off or have difficulty with stridency deletion, final consonant deletion, more processing type things. So originally we have, let me pull this out of here. These are our original cards. So as you see, they're nice illustrations for these activities. And what we have done, we have moved those and we've gone over to photos. So let's see if I see in here. I'll just take these out of the top. So now for these, of course, we also have colorful photos as well. Now, typically what we will find is for the younger, like the preschool, kindergartens, those typically prefer the colorful illustrated drawings, things like this, those illustrations, and then the older students would like to have the photos for those items. Just kind of combining that, we do have the phonological awareness photo cards. We have the phonemic awareness, these of course as well. We'll have full color photos. So you see for these, even our syllable practice, if the students or the younger grades are working on actually counting syllables, we also include full color photographs for those as well. Now, one of our most popular series of our workbooks are our jumbo articulation books. Now, these are wonderful articulation practice, and you can also, again, do the naming and vocabulary and categorizing. But with this book, you'll notice full color photos all the way throughout the book. So this is a wonderful activity. On this page, we're going to introduce the sound, excuse me, introduce the sound as well as tips on how to produce that sound. And then, of course, we're going to practice those sounds. And full color photo with those as well. Also for our photo phonology, you'll notice this book as well. We do have this for photos that you can use in conjunction with our phonology cards. Moving on to more of a language aspect for learning vocabulary, learning verbs, etc. This is our BIG Verbs photo deck. Now, the nice thing about this is great for classroom use. Our big nouns and our big verbs are wonderful recommendations for districts that are looking for classroom materials, either across kindergarten, first, second, etc. Classroom materials, this is wonderful because we use larger 5x7 cards. So with this one, these are 5x5. You'll see large photo, and then we have the prompts on the back of that. If we're looking at our vocabulary cards, same thing. With these, we'll have large photos as well. That's a large photo, etc. So as you see, large cards, great for classroom instruction, great for group instruction. These are wonderful for those activities. Moving on with more photo-themed products, we have our Say and Glue. These are also photo-themed products, so you can use your photos doing these activities. Again, it's just a mixture of not having to do typically card work practice. This can be classroom work, it can be remote learning work through our digital library, and it can also be homework for those students. Two of our smaller take-along books. These are wonderful as well. Our photo vocabulary, as you see, it's all categorized. We're using photos for these materials. So that is our photo vocabulary. And then we also have our photo story starters. With these, we have prompts and we have an image that goes with that. So you see a little story and then of course your picture with that. These are great individual tools as well. Speaking of our illustrations, just wanted to show you a little bit of the difference in some of these. As you see, our products would typically have illustrations. Now again, nothing wrong with these. These are actually preferable by a lot of schools and a lot of teachers. But if they want to move away from the illustrations, if you're going into the older students in elementary or the middle school students, they will tend to think that, oh, that's too young for me. I'm an older student now. I've moved on. So that's why we have this plethora of photo products that we have started creating. And these have been continuously added to our product lineup. And they cover a vast array of topics. So for example, we'll see here we have our photo mini mysteries deck. This will provide a photo and questions about that. These are wonderful for our young learners, our sentence building and sentence remix. This is great for grammar. So for sentence building, I want to show you these. You'll notice we have a full color picture on the front. And then on the back, we have our prompts for the teacher or the instructor to give the child. So the student will hear one word and they'll make a sentence out of it. So for this one, they'll look at the picture, and we'll give them the clue sitting. They come up with a sentence for sitting. Listening class, hair brown long, and teacher school works at. So we give them keywords, they use the picture as their visual reference, and they provide those responses. So this will be sentence building, and the other sentence remix, again, a nice full color photo, and then the prompts on the back if the student needs help. So it's going to align that. And of course, you see the pictures at the bottom as well. So those are two wonderful, wonderful card decks using photos for those specific tasks. We also have photo synonyms, pragmatics, which is the use of language. Then we have similarities and differences, again with those photos. We have auditory memory for short stories. This is a wonderful deck, very popular as that auditory recall, listening to the story and then recalling facts about that story and using the real photos for that. We also have irregular plurals, so working on those grammar aspects. And then our larger irregular verbs. This is one of our newer decks. So this will come, again, this is a 4x6 full color photo. And then on the back, we have our present tense, our past tense, and our future tense. So we can work on all different forms of our verbs, and those are wonderful instructional tools as well. And then moving over, we have our clues for critical thinking. Again, another higher level activity for auditory memory and inferencing. We have our multiple meanings fun deck. This is another photo deck that we're excited about. Again, you'll see an illustration at the top on that picture, and then we have the sentence at the bottom. The multiple meaning word is highlighted in red, so the student can use the visual cue, see how it's used in the sentence, and then provide an additional meaning for that word. Understanding inferences and more. Again, we have a nice full color photo, and then the prompts are on the back. The dog's digging at the beach. So these are just wonderful, wonderful activities and products that the students can use to target those skills. Now, we'll recommend two of our very, very popular inferencing decks. Both of these decks are wonderful activities, not only for short story and memory recall, but also for those inferencing skills. These decks are also color-coded, as is most all of our products. And these are wonderful activities. Again, it will provide a full color picture. And then on the back, we have a short story and follow-up questions for those as well. Again, wonderful instructional tools that we have. And moving on to our skill strips. Now, these are somewhat new for us that we've had out for a couple of years, but we're targeting more and more of those language aspects. This emotions skill strips is very popular. Again, color. Everything is labeled in sections, color-coded for the student's ability level. Level 1 will provide an emotion. Again, same picture. The emotion is presented. Level 2, get that out of there. Level 2 will have an emotion with 3 different people, so that we need to identify the emotion in 3 different people. Then level 3 will have a situation, a sentence or a situation. They'll listen and identify that emotion. And then level 4 will provide an emotion, and can you match the situation to that? Again, all of these levels are with the photos. So it's a wonderful up-to-date tool. And our WH question skill strips. This goes along kind of with our fun decks, just in a different learning format for the students. So for these as well, you'll notice we have the question and then colored photos for the instructional purposes. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And finally, we have our table of bingo and lotto games. These are very popular with students because it's going to allow them that ability to play the game, have that feedback of covering the squares and a winner, things like that for the gameplay. So you'll notice I have Photo Lotto for things to wear and animals. I have around the home and food. And then we have our verbs bingo, our photo verbs bingo, and then our Weber problem solving Photo Lotto. The photo verbs bingo is super, super popular. And as you see here on the game board, real photos or actual photos, however you want to call them and define them. So these products are wonderful tools. They're very popular. It brings that real life element into the game. And then of course our lottos, those are broken down into the color coded boards where you have green will be food, flip it over to red, that's around the home. Same thing with the animals, will be blue. Over here on the other side is pink, and that is things to wear. All of the instructional cards are inside the boxes. So you'll see we have three decks of food, 3 decks for around the home. Same thing for the animals and things to wear. And then as we look at the verbs bingo and problem solving lotto, you'll notice all of these instructional cards are color coded and categorized as well. Easy reference, targeting the specific skills those students need for their learning purposes, meet their objectives. So I know it's a lot today. It's a lot of information, a lot of products were presented, but I just wanted to reiterate that when you get requests from schools and districts and teachers about products that you can use with your older elementary, middle school, high school students, these are some great items to start with because they are putting that real world visual representation into the product. Any questions for today? No? All right, and if we don't have any questions for today, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.
Thank you.
You are so welcome.